Hello, 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 everybody. Thank you for being here. I want you guys to know that I'm actually talking to an almost empty crowd. I have one person in the chat that I know of. Oh, wait, 14 people are watching. Okay. Hi, all 14 of you. Thank you for being here. Um, I forgot to make this public in StreamYard. So StreamYard didn't send out a notification, but I put out a notification saying I was going to be on. So I hope you all saw that. And if you didn't, I'm sorry. I work a full-time job and I try to do this. So I'm not, firing on all cylinders when it comes to getting all this stuff done. Anyway, thank you for being here. We're going to be doing some political questions. As you can see by the crawler at the bottom of the screen, it's first come, first serve. Cleo's going to help me put up a few of the questions and then I'll read on them. Well, first, actually, I have a couple of questions and then we'll put up a few of your questions on the screen so you can see what questions are coming up. And yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So thank you very much for being here. And I think with that, we are going to start out with our first question. So the first thing that I want to talk about is a headline that came out today and just a little while ago. Susie Wiles says, well, Musk has pretty much left the government. Now, that was the headline. And then every statement that she made kind of backtracked from that, saying, well, he's gone, but he'll still be involved, or he's gone, but I'll still be talking to him on the phone every day or whatever. Just because he's physically not here doesn't mean that he's not here. But I'm wondering if really there's something going on about, is he just have to go? Because Susie Wiles also, I don't usually see her statements in the press. I usually hear bupkis from Susie Wiles. She's usually, and she's even in a picture over Trumpy's shoulder in this particular article. So I'm wondering if they asked Susie to just kind of leak this out or say this to the press or whatever, just to kind of give it a veneer of authenticity. Because I think something's going on there. But then I'm a tarot reader on YouTube. I'm going to look for the juice. Is there something juicy going on there between Muscovite and the dumpster? Is there something kind of hinky going on in DC? What's going on there? Because we know his 130 days are up, but not until pretty much the end of May. And it's only the very, very, tomorrow's May 1st. So why is he leaving early? Does it have something to do with his little Tesla stock? Is it going down the tubes? Oh, so sorry. God, between those two, they're like Wrecking Ball 1 and Wrecking Ball 2. Okay, let me concentrate here. So we're going to do this. Let me shuffle just a minute here. Let me focus. So we're going to do this from the standpoint of Musk. Is Musk is his feelings hurt? Has he had a fight with the dumpster? Is he leaving because he wants to or because he has to? That's what we need to know. I know you can see the light behind me. I have my window open because it's bloody hot up here. Tomorrow, my guy's coming to put in the air conditioners. Thank God. Okay. So does the muskrat have hurt feelings, or what's just going on with him? Oh, very interesting. Very interesting. Oh, I knew there was a reason I should do this question. Wow. Oh boy. Okay. So the first card up is the Empress. So you know what that means. This is coming down from Pooty. And the next card is even better. It's the Ten of Swords. So Pooty is saying, you got to leave. We can't have you in the government anymore. You're just too much, and we don't want that. So I'm sure that hurt Muskie's feelings. But I got to tell you, this has been going on for a while. In the position for the past, he has the Seven of Wands. So he has been defending his actions and, you know, defending himself for probably a few weeks, I think about a month. But at the base of this, we have the Ten of Pentacles. So this has to do with all of them losing wealth. They're all worried about losing wealth. They're worried probably about the oligarchs, but more about their own personal wealth and what's been going on with that. And what crowns him is judgment. So he's being judged not only by the American people who are judging him harshly and just saying, get him the F out of there. He is ruining everything. He's ruining our lives. He's getting us fired. He's ruining everything. And then you put Trump on top of that bonfire, and then you have ruining the economy too. So even if we get a job, it's just not going to be great. In the future, we get the Eight of Pentacles. So something that he does, or something that somebody does that is, somewhat expert in some way, is going to be the focal point in the future. And I think that's Doge. So we'll have to do another reading on the future of Doggy. But yeah, they want him gone. They want him gone. They want him locked up. They want him out of there. And this is, yeah, the American people want him gone. American people want to see him, punished in some way. But he's going to fight back somehow. Somehow he's going to be resisting this, but I don't know if it's going to work or not. Let me just throw a few more cards out there. Oh yeah, he's going to work hard. He's going to work so hard to make everybody love him and want him back, and it's just not going to happen. He can wait until the cows come home. This is also just bad for his own personal situation with Tesla, because I think the board is about a nanosecond away from kicking him out. And in the end, he's a double cancer. In the end, he's going to be like, well, I didn't want to do that anyway. I've just become bored with all of that. So I wanted to move on to better things. That's how he's going to do it. But it looks like he's definitely leaving. He's leaving at the behest of Putin. And, he considered himself such a good friend to Putin that he was, shuttling messages between Putin and Trump before he was contributing all that money to Trump's campaign. So that's a pretty big deal. Okay, so now I want to do really quick. I just want to do a few cards on the fate of Doggy. What will happen? And I was curious too, like, is somebody else going to take over? Because the woman that they named before, I mean, we've never seen her in the news. She doesn't seem very effective. She seems more like an administrative person that is, maybe handling the day-to-day, but not imposing new initiatives on them, not giving them new tasks, but just keeping them going on the tasks they've already been given. So let me just see here. So what's the fate for Doggy? Does it continue? Does it just fall apart without Muskie the muskrat there? I need to shuffle more. Oh, interesting. 2 aces. So the fate of Doge is really uncertain. I get the Ace of Pentacles crossed by the Emperor. So This is kind of hilarious. So in some way, is it Trump that wants to take it over because he sees an opportunity for making some money? That's bizarre. Or maybe his opportunity to make money is to get Musk out of there and stop all the stuff that he did so that he can look like a hero, and that will somehow make him money. I was listening to a show today that was saying that it is going to be so expensive to correct all of the stuff that Doge did. Just the simple fact of having to rehire people means that there's a backlog of actual work that has to be done, and they're going to have to hire contract workers at probably double the price of what the Doge workers are to fill in the gaps of all the back work. In the meantime, they're also paying the Doge workers when they start working again, but also all their back pay that they lost. So right there, just a shit ton of money's going out the window because he fired all those people or kept them from doing their jobs by putting them on leave. So that's a nightmare. And then I have the Ace of Cups. So I think there's something really different and new coming about for Doge. Really different. Really, I don't quite know what all is going to be happening there. Yeah, the things that they're going to be doing are not well thought out. So if Trump does get his little fingers in the pie, and this could be somebody else, I'm sorry, my eye itches. This could be somebody else who is acting as the emperor. I mean, Dumpster is the first one who comes to mind, but there could be somebody else. I mean, I don't think that Steve Bissent is much of an emperor kind of guy. I mean, he does act like an emperor, but he doesn't have a good personality to be out front. And I think that's what the Dumpster Donnie is looking for, is somebody with a personality to go out front. Why, Coyote Rosenbaum, thank you. Thank you so much. But I think that oh, wow. I mean, there is so much going on with Doge that is not good. First of all, it's too much work for them. Even the people they have in there, it's just too much for them. Now that they're in there and they're hip deep in all of the code and all the data and all of that stuff, sure, they've probably sold it to Russia and China and every other, power that wants it. But they do also they have to manage stuff like the Treasury Department, the IRS, the Social Security thing, the Medicaid thing, the Medicare thing. They can't really just shut those down, and they do have to just keep making payments and managing this stuff. And it's too much. It's just too much. They way underestimated how many people they would need to run this thing. In other words, they can't count. They didn't understand what they were getting into, and they just barreled in there with no forethought and no foresight at all. I mean, Doge could just die a quiet death, and they could just bring everybody back, and Dumpy could just put somebody in charge like Jared Kushner to just bring everybody back in. But I don't think Jared wants any kind of job from Donald Trump right now. He's too busy living off of his billions from the Saudis. But there's got to be some choices made, and there's got to be some choices made with an eye towards the money and the human resources that need to be in there in order to make anything in the government work, let alone Doge. But Doge itself is spread too thin. Doge itself has too much work. So I don't know. It's just going to be really interesting to see what happens here. Their final card is the Two of Wands. So, they're planning, they're looking, they're strategizing, they're trying to figure out what the hell to do because obviously they really effed up and they just don't know what to do. Okay, let me go on to the next question. So Dumpy said that kids are not going to get as many toys as they want for Christmas, and they just have to, like it or lump it, So how is that going to go over with the American public? I see. Oh, wait, I don't need cards for that. I see in the future, I see millions of people protesting in the streets. I see effigies of Donald Trump being burned on many, many street corners in many towns in the United States. Wait, I see them also being burned in other countries. Okay, good. That was good. That was a good psychic impression there. But yeah, I mean, you don't have to be psychic to know that everybody hates this. You just have to listen to one or two YouTube, shows and news shows, and you're going to hear it. Nobody likes this. This is terrible for everybody. Even the oligarchs hate it. Even the oligarchs went and said, hey, our shelves are going to be empty in 2 weeks. What are you going to do about it? Because we don't like that. So, Laura H says, just tell the kids that T-Rump put tariffs on Santa. Oh, well, that's one way to prevent them from being MAGA in the future. So that's good. All right. So consumer confidence plunges to lowest in 5 years. Gee, you know what was happening 5 years ago? DJT was also president. Okay. All right. So here's something I want to know about. What the heck is up with Jeff Bezos? Why? Something's going on with my phone here. Okay. I lost a really interesting chat. Oh. So Kamala is doing a talk tonight, and my friend just sent me a thing with showing the transits against her chart for tonight, and North Node is on her moon. No, the moon is on her North Node. She's going to get what she wants. She's fulfilling her destiny. She's stepping back into the spotlight, fulfilling her destiny and her heart's desire. So for those of you who are saying, oh, Kamala doesn't want the job, she doesn't want to go back into that, you're wrong. She does. But it probably took her going through a lot of soul searching to figure out that she does still want to do it, or needs to do it, or feels compelled to do it, because it is her destiny. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you, Kathy Beal, for texting that to me. Okay, so what's the deal with Amazon? I think I'm going to change decks for this. So first they're going to post the difference between the actual price and the tariff price, and then they're not. And then he claims that they never were, and that it was only there for the Amazon Halls site. I've never even looked at Amazon Halls. So let's see what's going on, Jeff. These gazillionaires have no balls. They have no courage whatsoever. You would think because they have plenty money that they would just be brave, just stand up for what they're doing, stand up for themselves. But no, they are so cowardly. It's just amazing. So Jeff Bezos, what's in your coffee these days? You're just a wuss. Just a total wuss. And selling us down the river to boot. Hey, we bought from you instead of Temu. You should be nice to us. Mr. Bezos, I used to love him, but I really think he's a piece of shit. Do 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 do. He should get hit. La 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 la. That's your interlude music for shuffling. Okay. All right. Mr. Bezos, what's going on with you? What is going on with you? Interesting. For a hot second there, I had the thought that Mr. Bezos, when I heard that they were going to put the pricing on there for about the tariffs, I thought, good, that's good. And then he kind of backed off of it. But the way his cards are coming out, a little bit different. So he feels betrayed by the Trumpster. He feels that, he gave his all, and all Dumpy did was ruin the economy and cause the tariff thing to happen. But he gets the Three of Pentacles crossing it. So he has the opportunity to talk to the people who want to make a difference and who want to change this, to be in on some of their plans. Now, they don't trust him enough to let him in on the real plans, like, the military and government people and stuff. But there's subsets of those groups that are way outside those circles, but still within, the higher echelons than you and me, right? That are also trying to plan things. And he has an opportunity to work with them because he is powerful, because he has a lot of money, and he does have he has a platform, he has a mouthpiece, so he can make a difference. He also has the Washington Post. So there's that. And he's got the opportunity to do this. He's got the Star card here. There's a possibility that he could take this ball and run with it, even though he told Trump, well, we didn't even plan that, yada yada. We're not really going to do that because Dumpy didn't want him to. Now, in the past, he has the Three of Cups. He really thought he was all that in a cup of tea because he was sitting there for the inauguration and he contributed money, yada, yada. And he thought he was home free. He did not think the leopard would eat his face, but the leopard is eating his face. So he's having a hard time with that. And now he feels like he has to hang on to all of his money. You get the Four of Pentacles. But it's too little too late, Jeff, because he's going to get the Tower moment. So he is going to be hit in the pocketbook. He is going to be hit pretty terribly with this stuff. So you and me may find that, things are more expensive this summer and starting probably in like 3 weeks. But for him, this may threaten the longevity of his company. I know nobody's crying for Jeff Bezos. Somebody else will buy it and take it over. But he is not happy about this. He is not happy about this at all. But you know who is happy about this? Russia. Russia's very happy about this. He's going to, in the long run, he's going to end up doing something that's, not particularly gracious or ethical or good in any way. He may do something, in fact, that's actually pretty unethical to save his skin. So, bye-bye, Bezos. I see him divesting certain properties or pieces of investment, like, I don't know, the Washington Post or something. Like, why does he need the Washington Post? He could let that go. Okay. So that was Bezos. So, Cleo, why don't you put up something on the screen and we'll do a couple of those questions.
Okay, doke. All right. So the first question I had was this one. Did the guy in Canada truly win in Canada?
Oh, I didn't think there was any question about it.
Man, I mean, but that's what the question is. And then,
okay.
And let's see, there's another question, maybe not even a question. Let's see. This one. Is the Trump walking back salmonella going to be dangerous to our health?
Mm-hmm.
Then I've got this one. Will Tesla investors push Musk out of the management of the company?
I can answer that one right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't need cards for that. Okay.
Okay.
One more. Let's just see one more if you have it.
I've got, this is number 4.
Okay.
Will Dub be Prez come Labor Day? And there's a lot of questions I like that today.
Okay. All right.
And also, one more. Will 45 be in government for another 100 days? That goes along with the other question. So, should we go back to the first question?
Yeah, let's go up to the first one.
Okay, I think we already answered that basically.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
then,
you truly won.
okay. Yeah, it sounds like that's a good guy to have in Canada. He's
He
the
is.
one I think we wanted.
Yeah. And yeah.
And now this thing about salmonella going to be dangerous to our health.
Well, salmonella is very dangerous to your health.
We know that, but because I guess Trump did something in regards to this.
Got rid of all of the regulations that require things to be inspected. So everything
Oh, of
from,
course he did.
people looking at, whether the lettuce has, bacteria on it, or whether a cow has a disease or something. Nobody's doing that anymore. Well, individuals may be doing it on their own, but the government isn't forcing them to. So it's just a matter of time. All right, let me read on that really quick. Just do a few cards on that. The way I'm thinking of this is, are people going to get sick from the lack of inspectors on our food? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you can buy like little home kits or anything, but if you can, let me know about it and I'll put it up on my channel as like a public announcement, because yeah, I mean, not having people inspect our food is really bad. It's really, really bad. One of the many reasons I'm a vegetarian. But I eat eggs. I mean, you know, just have to depend on the goodness of the or the egg farmers.
Okay, so you want the next question?
Yeah. Hmm.
Why isn't it going up there? There we go.
Oh yeah, we answered this. Yes, they absolutely will.
Okay. And then there's a lot of questions like this today. So why don't we start with this guy, Montage or girl?
Okay.
I don't know who this is.
Don't be president come Labor Day. I don't think he will be. Um, he is he is blinded by his need to hang on to as much of his coin as possible. And even leading up to the election, and certainly after the election, he has been selling as much, what do they call it on the I've Had It podcast, of his knickknacks as possible in order to make money. And I had heard at one point, I think it was like around March, that he was so much richer now that he had been elected president, or so-called elected president, that he was really rolling in it for him. He's never been as wealthy as any of those other oligarchs, but for him, doesn't take much, because he just acts as if he's like 10 times as rich. But Russia is really at the base of his security. So even though he's making money off of his little grifts and knickknacks, it's his deal with Russia that is really the base, the foundation of what he does. And I think that Putin is also a sick man. And I think that Putin also loses patience with the Donald from time to time. I mean, he has always referred to Krasnos as a useful idiot, right? Because Krasnos isn't really an agent; he's an asset. He's a he's a he does what he says. He loans money. He gets loaned money by Russia, but then he has to do things for it. And remember, when he was president before, he did not deliver on a lot of the things that he was supposed to do for Russia. And supposedly now, this is what he's doing. He's delivering on all of the promises or whatever. His deal with Elon, both Putin and Trump really thought this was going to be great, and it was terrible. So now, the karma is coming home to roost, and now they're all kind of having to pay the price of making that bad decision. He doesn't want this to go down this way, but it is going down this way, and he's just being shown to be a bigger fool than he ever was. But yeah, I think there's just so many things that are going to be happening pretty soon here that I highly doubt that he would still be in the White House come Labor Day. Now, he could pull something where they get him out of the White House, they do this kind of military takeover thing and have this interim government going on, and he may be still calling himself president from Mar-a-Lago. I could see that happening on Labor Day still. But is he really going to be in charge of things come Labor Day? You know, once burned, thrice shy. Making predictions about certain dates has been very, very bad for me. And bad for a lot of tarot readers. But I really feel that he is not going to make it. I mean, as I talked about last week, there's so many things converging on him to force him out. I wouldn't be surprised if the convergence of things snowballs into a 25th Amendment. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I know all of his cabinet members are oligarchs, millionaires, gazillionaires, billionaires, but all they have to do is Google it to find out that they can all pull the 25th Amendment and get him out of there. And they might want to do that if they want Vance in or whatever. They might have their reasons, but I don't know. They're not politicians, those guys. So they might not be thinking along those lines, but it wouldn't surprise me if that came up. Same thing. What is another 100 days? I figured this out at one point. I think that took us into July or something. What happened to my mouse here? It's not functioning. Let me just see. So if we go with, so May is about 30 days. May, June, yeah, end of July. Yeah, that brings us up to the beginning of August. So, same answer that I just gave. he could be more in Mar-a-Lago than in DC by then. So that's as close as I'm going to come to nailing down a date. I don't want to do that because it's, the thing is, you know, we all want very specific answers. And then as soon as I give you a specific answer and it doesn't happen exactly as I said it, then people are saying, "Oh, see, you were wrong." Well, you know what? I'm wrong many times a day, but even clock is right twice a day. So, and I'm not saying that, you know, even a clock is right twice a day is a justification for what I do. Also, the energy changes. So we're reading on the energy the way it is now. And we can't know all the other little pieces that are going to affect what is going to go on ultimately with Dumpy. Who could have predicted the way things have fallen out up to now, the first 100 days? I mean, yeah, we knew that they were going to try to do Project 2025, but did anybody anticipate this stupid Doge thing and everything that would come of it? I mean, we knew that it was going to be bad. We knew that because of Project 2025, they were going to try to do something like that, but I don't think anybody could foresee how Elon would get in there and be as effective a wrecking ball as he is. And then with the dumpster Don doing his stupid tariffs, he had done a couple tariffs in his previous administration, and it wasn't great, but it didn't kill us. It didn't wreck the economy. And now that fucker has gone and taken us from the envy of the world to the toilet bowl of the world as far as economy goes. So even though people are not hurting as much quite yet, unless you're on the end of the stick where you were part of a US agency that you got canned. I mean, those poor people, that's awful. But the general public is not feeling it quite yet, but they will. And there's just so many elements that go into it. So right now, yes, I think he'll be out by Labor Day, but he may be, you know, holding court in Mar-a-Lago. He may still be calling himself president. That's what I'm going to say. So, because there's just too many things going on to even guess at it. All right, next. Will the military throw him out of office? Yes. I don't have to read on that. Yes. It is going to be a military action. It is going to be coordinated with a lot of different arms of military. Could even be some support from people from outside this country. And I can't wait for that to happen. That is going to happen. Go ahead. Oh, we done? Okay, so let me see my list. Okay. Let's do a quick one on the Wisconsin High Court kicks off a judge, the judge that was accused of helping the immigrant, right, that got arrested. What are they going to do with this? Oh, hey, Aiden, nice to see you in there. Okay. Wisconsin High Court kicks off judge accused of helping immigrants. Well, no wonder they wanted to do something to that judge. I guess in Wisconsin, they must have some really MAGA feeling judiciary. So what's going to come of that? Is that poor judge going to have a pot left to piss in? But she's elected, right, in Wisconsin. So how can they just, well, they can. I guess they can. I guess they can do what they want to do. It's not great for her, but there is help. She will have help, probably from outside the state of Wisconsin, but maybe from within the state of Wisconsin as well. You're not going to hear a lot from her as she goes through some of this, and it's going to be tough for her. This is, oh man, they have done some shitty things. Now, a lot of people are just going to encourage her to just leave, just move to another state and start over. And the thing is that that means you're going to cut and run. And I think that that just goes against everything she believes. I think she believes that, no, this was really wrong. I should have legal recourse to get my job back. And however she got it, elected or appointed, I don't know in Wisconsin how they do that, but she may end up leaving. And that's what people are going to encourage her to do. But there is going to be help. And who knows, maybe this, inspires her to start a whole new career as an advocate for social justice. She certainly has a good background for it. So, yeah, that's tough. That's a real tough one. Okay. All right. So, let's see. How is Kamala's fundraiser going to go? That's the thing tonight, I think. Okay. I think, is it in Los Angeles? Is that where she is? Cleo, can you Google that and see where she is? This is a great beginning for her. This is a really great beginning for her. She's going to light up the sky with what she does. It's going to be really, really good. She has a lot of support, a great many people supporting her. I'm sure she'll have some real stellar people in the crowd and people talking about it and giving news clips and everything. But this is her working on her legacy, which she has not been allowed to do up until now since the election, but also has not been up to it or wanting to do it. It was just, she needed to really regroup mentally, emotionally, spiritually. She really had to regroup and ask herself, what the hell am I doing here? I could do a million other things. I could make good money. I could be satisfied with a good legal career. Why am I kicking myself to do this political jazz when clearly I am such a target and I'm just bringing out the worst in everybody? But tonight, when she does this speech, this is going to start the public side of the planning for really, really taking back our government. She is not, I don't think she's going to be saying that in so many words like, hey, we're going to do a little plan. But I think that it's clear to everybody that there is a groundswell there to have her back at the head of government, whatever it takes.
What I get, Colleen, is that the gala, the Emerge America Gala, begins at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Harris's speech will be live streamed on the AP's YouTube channel.
Oh, great. And what time?
7 o'clock Pacific time, and it's I think it's coming from San Francisco or LA, one or the other.
Okay, so it's out in California. Okay, yeah. That's good. So what this sparks for her is a lot of dreams, imagination, people really thinking the possible again. Whereas for the last 5 months, we've all just been thinking, oh, what the F? What are we going to do now? This is such a shit show, right? But I think with this, people really start thinking, oh, there's some things that are possible. And also, I think people begin to believe on a real tangible level that justice is possible for reversing this current government, which is really, really going to be it's going to, we're kind of at civil war with ourselves. That's kind of what we're doing. But the rest of the world is also experiencing this. There's a lot of countries that are experiencing this, and there's a lot of countries who are being affected by the stupid tariffs and all the threats. And Canada's going to be the 51st state, and then we're going to invade Greenland. All of that nasty stuff is really impacting other countries too. So that we have a lot of support around the globe for getting rid of him. And the final outcome for her is the Ace of Swords. She's the Queen of Swords because she's a Libra. So having the Ace of Swords as her final outcome is, this is the beginning for her of really forging forward, using her knowledge of the law, using her very brilliant ability to communicate. And she's so eloquent. I mean, it's great. She's a very good speaker, I think. And she's very smart. And now that I feel like she's back on an even keel, I feel like she can be very effective at rallying people, organizing people, coordinating people, and just inspiring people to do what needs to be done to get our country back. I just think it's going to be very, very good. This thing is going to be really good. I'm going to have to watch it too. Okay. What's our next question? Or let's tee up a few questions. Trump walking back Biden's salmonella rules for poultry products. Yeah, we already did that. Yeah. Hello. Thank you for your insights. Will Trump be arrested by military in May? Why did Zelensky sign a deal with Trump? I I hope it's in May, but I'm not. I don't think we can really know exactly when it's going to be. I'll throw on that. Will the military do something in May? I mean, I think what it's going to show me is that yes, the military is going to do something, but the timing of it is going to be very hard to decipher. That's what I'm going to see. So,
okay.
I mean, I think May is the time for it to happen. I really do, but I have thought that it's been the time to do it since February. So, I'm not neutral on this. Okay, will Tangerine Toddler try to send troops to fight with Russia? Let's do that. That's a good one.
And do you want to see any more on the list, or do you want to just me to stop?
Yeah, I'll just do this, and then maybe do one or two from mine, and call it a night.
Well, I just got a couple more in this section, so go ahead and do this one, and then we'll do the next one and the next one, and then I'll be done.
Okay, great. Okay, I have to do this in two parts. The first part is, will he send the troops to fight in Russia? Will he send the troops? And then the second part, I think, is, will the troops fight in Russia? So the answer to the first part, will he send the troops? Yes, he wants to send the troops. They are in the planning stages now of how to send the troops, and he's definitely coordinating with Putin. Okay. All right. So now I want to see, but will the troops fight in Russia? That's what I thought. Okay. Yeah. This is going to be a very emotional issue for the military. They don't want to do it. They do not want to do it. And they're going to find some way of stalling, delaying, not going forward with it. They're going to do everything they can. I do get the Chariot in the future. So I'm wondering if the military doesn't literally turn the guns around to face Putin and Dumpy, even though they're supposed to be facing Ukraine, because they don't want to do it. They do not want to do it. It's yeah, they don't want to do it at all. It just goes against everything because it goes against the Constitution. They don't even care if they are arrested. They just don't want to do it. It's so I think they're going to refuse. Basically, I think they're going to refuse. I think they're going to set up the plan, but I think they're going to refuse to actually go or fight. They may be there and then just turn around and join Ukraine.
Can I interject a little something here?
Please do. Yeah, go ahead.
If Trump does want to align with Russia and bring United States troops into Russia, oh my God, this will be the end of Trump. This will be the treason we've all been waiting for. So, you know, I hope he does something like that, because that makes it so much easier for everybody. Okay, there's the treason, pull it out. The military won't be going to Russia. They'll be going down to Washington, D.C. or Mar-a-Lago, pulling him out of there and arresting him. So just my 2 cents worth. Thank you.
You're welcome. And, the thing is, though, Cleo, hasn't he already done several things like this that are treason?
Absolutely.
Look at the documents. Look at the documents case right there. He did that, 4 years ago? So,
yeah. Well, and also he's been, since he's been this term, this second term of his so-called presidential term, he has been doing too many things that are way too cozy with Putin. Way too cozy. So I know there's a number of things that will come up as treason, but this thing about sending troops to fight with Russia, oh, hell no. Not a chance in hell that he'll be able to pull that off.
but he wants to. And I think, he's playing so coy, saying, I think, Putin may not actually want peace in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Gee, Mary, do you think? I mean, he thinks we're really stupid. He just thinks we're so stupid. But, and then Rubio saying, well, if we don't get this thing, worked out in a few days, then we're done. Oh, okay, Einstein. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, peace talks in a few days. That's always a sure thing. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
But drawing the military into it, I'm telling you, there is these high up military generals that will just be, oh, come on. No way are we doing that. And they would just put a kibosh on the whole thing. And but yes, there's been a number of treasonous acts that Trump has already committed just within the last, since he's been in, since January 20th. So yeah, but this would just be, this would be, oh, this would be amazing. I don't really see it happening, but yeah, it would be the end for him.
Yeah. And the thing too, the little wrench in the works is that they need to get rid of Hegseth too, because
is he still in?
Well, I knew they were looking for a replacement, but you know how it is when you're looking for a temp. It's kind of hard to find, so it might take them a while to find a good temp to replace him. Okay, what do I got here? What do you think will happen concerning the DoD embedding military into local communities? Oh,
yeah.
Yes. Let's read on that. That's another kind of treasonous thing. Nope, we're not at war. There's no reason to have the military potentially aiming their guns at civilians. Unless those civilians are J6 convicts. Did I say that? Did I say that out loud? Oh, I'm so sorry, DJT.
Well, there's a reason why we have a police force and why we have a military force. I mean, it's two different things, and
I just think it's ludicrous that Dumpy actually thinks that if he does that, the military is going to obey him.
Well, he's the chief. He's the commander in chief.
But they make an oath to the Constitution too. They don't make an oath to the president. They don't make an oath to a general. Their oath is to the Constitution, just like everybody else's. So I'm sorry, but he's barking up the wrong tree. So the DoD. Okay, let's see. I see that they make the deal. He signs whatever he needs to sign, another stupid executive order or some kind of contract or something. He signs what he's supposed to sign, but it's not worth the paper it's written on. I think that things are going to be happening with him. See, this is why it's so hard to really right now look at timing things, because there's so many layers of what could go wrong with him. He could have a health event, a really bad one. I mean, Vance could, grow a pair and decide he wants to off Trump himself. Vance is really, he's a nasty piece of work too. We could have, we could actually have stuff with the impeachment heating up. We could have the military that escorted him out, and now he's operating out of Mar-a-Lago. We could have 100 of these different things happening that really, conflict the picture of what's going on. So I think that, well, he may have started the ball rolling to have this happen. It's 90 days from now, and that 90 days from now is getting into that territory where I'm not so sure he's really going to be operating the White House and the administration anymore. And so I think that a lot of those things that were put into motion are being stopped. And if it's not being stopped by an interim government, then it would be stopped by heads of military saying that's against the Constitution. We're not following through with that. So I think what will happen is it won't happen. I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. Okay. Was that the last one, or we have one more?
Let's see. Where was I? Oh, I've got one more. Let me go back up here just a second.
Okay.
Okay, I was going to skip this particular one and go to this.
Eric Swalwell said 100% GOP voted to allow Trump to deport American citizens to foreign locations. 100% of the GOP voted to allow Trump to deport American citizens to foreign locations. Well, I don't get what the question is. Is the question about the GOP, or is the question about the deportation? Will he do it? He'll try to do it. He's going to try.
I think that's what it's about, the deportation.
Yeah, and I don't need cards for that. He's going to try to do it. If he's around when this is supposed to go into effect, his stupid goons will go ahead and pick people up. And somebody had asked, I think last week, had asked the question, who is doing the picking up? Because these so-called officers are unidentifiable. They don't wear an identifiable uniform. They don't show their faces. They don't have badges. They won't give their names to the people that they're arresting. So are these like peanut butter boys? Are they, oath creepers? Are they, because I don't think they're regular ICE agents. And I think some ICE agents are also doing this. But, I mean, yeah, he's going to do this nasty shit. This is what he came here for, is to do stuff. And let's just keep this in mind, that all the terrible things that he's doing are, I guess, need to be done because the American people haven't gotten mad enough yet. We have had a lot of protests, a lot more. The last time they had one, it was a lot bigger than the one before, which I think was only 2 weeks before. But we still don't have enough outrage in the American public saying this guy has got to go. Now, I am seeing on more of the news programs, or at least the ones I watch news on YouTube. So I have seen quite a few of the more progressive journalists on YouTube showing clips of town halls where a lot of American people are really, really upset and telling their representatives and senators, look, this cannot go on. You must stop him. You must take him out. I saw this one woman who was saying, she had 3 reasons. 1, my son is special needs. 2, my husband is worked for the government and now doesn't have a job. And 3, my sister's on Medicaid or something like that. Like she was ticking all the boxes and saying, this can't stand. He cannot act this way. And, so more and more people need to do that and need to speak up and, do the 5 calls thing and do the letter writing and do, showing up in these protests. We all need to be outraged and voice our outrage, not let it get us frightened and not let us put us in a state of victimhood, but righteous indignation and outrage that this can happen in this country and that it must be stopped and reversed. And then stand in your power and know that that's absolutely possible, that we are going to do that. But it won't happen until there's enough people screaming about it. And that's why all the bad things are happening. It isn't that we just can't have nice things. It's that in this moment in history, we need to stop the bowling ball from rolling downhill, because it's just going to roll on everybody, or boulder. It's just going to roll over everybody and kill people along the way. So we have to stop it. And, I know there's going to be MAGAs forever, not forever, but there's going to be MAGAs, for a while, because they're brainwashed. They're in a cult and they're just brainwashed, and they'll need help when this is all over with. But the majority of people in this country are not that way. Even some that voted for him and thought they loved him have turned. So now you're probably talking about 15, 16, 17% of the whole population maybe still thinks that way, and the rest of us don't. But it's, as we see, he did get into the White House, whether he was elected or not. He got in there by hook or by crook, and now he's like a fox in the hen house. He's just chomping down on every big juicy piece of meat that he can see, and he does have to be stopped. And we think that the courts are doing a great job stopping the executive orders and deportations somewhat, but he's still doing it. He's still doing new ones that then we have to go and stop. So the courts alone are not going to be enough to really stop him. We have to have all this other action. And that's why I think it is going to be a military thing that finally comes to a head. Somebody was saying something on a show about, I think it was, maybe it was Libby from Meister Tarot, that there is something about the military can take over when all three branches of government have failed, basically, and the country is in distress. I mean, I'm summarizing badly here, but something like that. So I'm going to look that up when I get off. But I do think that, we are going to stop him, but we still need to experience that outrage, and we need to get everybody on board with the idea of this is bad and it has to stop. I mean, the guy on Midas Touch, the young kid, his name escapes me now. I think it starts with an M, but he had interviewed some MAGAs, and they're still saying, yeah, it was better for me when Trump was in office last time. It really helped me. And, I think he's doing the same thing now, and I think it's going to help me. And I'm thinking, oh my God, honey, you definitely are on Medicaid, and nobody's ever going to fix those teeth in your head, because, he's going to cut all that out. So Adam Mockler, thank you, Book Bewitched. Yeah, Adam Mockler. And he was interviewing a few people, and they're just like, no, I think he's doing the right thing. I'm like, oh my God, can you please, somebody take a can of soup and hit her in the head? Like, wake up. This is what does happen. Yes, Carol Bolzone, you're right. They have to really see him. All of them have to see him. And not that we're going to convince all of them, but if enough of people around the United States really get an earful and really get upset with him, then we will change it. We will change it. We have to be as mad at him as Liz Cheney was when she decided to go on the Jan 6 committee. She was so mad, and that's why she did it. So,
okay, so is it okay if I move on to another? It's not actually, it's not a question, but is it okay if I move on?
Sure.
Okay, so I wanted to put this up here. It's not a question, but it's Brian, and he's been, he was the one that was concerned about where's Kamala speaking, and I did find that out for him on the AP on YouTube at 7:00 tonight. She will be on there. But anyway, so this is a question. He's still talking about Kamala Harris. I brought this up because I agree, and I bet everybody on here agrees with this. She
Yeah.
is back in the spotlight for a reason. I'm so sick of hearing, oh, she wants to run for governor of California. Nope, sorry, not happening. Brian, I totally agree with you on that one. Totally. I did.
Isn't Katie Porter also running for governor? I'm going to Google it because I thought I heard she was, because I keep getting that she might be governor.
Okay. Katie Porter, actually, she's somebody I was looking at a long time ago.
Yeah, she's running for governor. She is running for governor of California, and I keep seeing her as governor of California.
Yeah,
I see a lot of younger women taking positions of power in the very, very near future. I mean, they were talking about, the guy that took over the head of the oversight committee, and when AOC was also trying to get that position, that he's very sick. His cancer has progressed and he's very, very sick. And they're probably going to replace him. I think he might be willingly stepping down. I don't think they're kicking him out or anything. But, people were saying, well, gee, does AOC still want the job? Because she would have been great. I'm thinking, no, numbnuts, you missed the moment. She's off and doing something way cooler than chairing the fucking oversight committee. She's making the stars shine with Bernie Sanders all over the damn country. She does not need that committee to get a little visibility. But Jasmine Crockett might just be your gal. Jasmine Crockett would be great at that. And they're both so young. But the thing about Jasmine Crockett is Jasmine Crockett has a lot of experience in legislation. She was in the Texas legislature for a few years and really, really knows it inside and out. So she might be better than AOC in that just because of her legislative background. So that's what I think. Anyway.
Okay.
Excuse me, I said that wrong. Katie Porter is running, provided oh, okay. Yeah, Katie Porter for governor. She got a website. She's running. She's running. So that's, I think, okay, we'll mention, will the Election Truth Alliance even gain enough traction to get an audit done in PA? They have statistically shown proof that the election was likely hacked. Well, I can throw a few cards on it.
Okay, my impression was that they've already done this.
Yeah, I thought they've already done it too.
And all the stuff that they're doing is going to be, it's just this melting pot of crap, And this thing could be the thing that definitely tips it over, especially if they come up with what we're all hoping they do. They have come up. Well, I guess they have come up with it.
They have. There's a company that actually recreated the whole scenario. Yeah, they're doing it. They're not talking about it, though, because if they talk about it too much, then, people are going to do things to cover up all the evidence. They're going to threaten people. They're going to steal things. They're going to, hack in. They're going to, so they're not talking about it a lot. But when the time comes, that will be important and it will come out. And it will be helpful. It won't be the only, pin that knocks over, but it will be helpful. All of it will be helpful. And also it will be helpful because it will allow them to rewrite laws so that they can't do that kind of shit again. So that they think about, well, do we go back to paper ballots? Do we find some other thing? Do we put a chip on our fingertip? How do we do this so that people can't cheat? I say make everybody vote. Make it mandatory voting like they do in other countries so that there's no excuse for not voting. Well, I couldn't get off work. I feel you. If you can't get off work or you got to go run and pick up your kid from childcare, I've been there. That is not easy, raising kids and working and then trying to do your civic duty along the way. That's a hump. I mean, it's a hump. It's hard. So I think if they made it mandatory and just everybody had to do it, I think that would be easier because they would find ways to make it easier because everybody has to do it. Like if the mail-in stuff works, like I got my mail-in ballot for here. We have an election here in June in New Jersey. and I have my ballot. I'm going to read it probably tomorrow or the next day and just drop it in the mail and I'll be done. I will have voted. So that's what I think they should do. All right. Yeah, right. Kathy Lynn Cunningham, chip on the fingertip. Why not? News headlines. Ukraine has signaled a mineral deal with the United States. Okay, good. That's good. It'll never come to pass. It'll never come to pass. You know why? Because Dumpy won't be compos mentis. Bernie had a great speech on his YouTube channel. He said the Dem leadership is saying, settle down, no changes to the way we deal. You can look at that speech. It's so worthy. Okay, I'll look at it. I have always liked Bernie. Bernie was my choice before he dropped out last time. I got Medicare for all and Bernie stickers all over my house. Do you see Kamala Harris in 26? Kamala will most likely be POTUS by 26. And Vance will be hopefully in an orange jumpsuit or living alone on an island somewhere.
Orange jumpsuit. Okay. And here's the last thing I've got starred. The last question.
Judges and SCOTUS come together to help judges in trouble. Let me read on that. Well, if they do as a group, we're not going to hear about it. It's going to be a big secret, behind the, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain kind of thing. But probably there will be pockets of judges that do, or just lawyers that, and legal groups like bar associations and stuff that will help them. But I don't see a big conflagration of judges and saying, oh, we have to stand. No, they're not going to be advocates for one another. John Roberts made his little speech twice about and that's kind of it. But I do not see that happening. I don't think that they will, if they are brought before someone on the bench, I don't think the person on the bench is going to flinch to say this is ridiculous and you're not going to jail unless they really did something wrong. But you know what I mean? I don't see judges prosecuting and persecuting other judges, but I don't see a big effort to protect them as a group. I don't see that. Okay. All right. So that's what I got tonight, guys. I hope this was good. The only thing that I didn't read on that I had on my list was the interview that Trump did, where the ABC interviewer was really nailing him to the wall about the photoshopped picture of Kilmar Abrego Garcia's hand that obviously had been photoshopped. And I got to tell you, yeah, that's not an MS-13 tattoo. It's a Sharpie on a photo. I mean, somebody just literally went in there and went MS-13, like right over the photo, and then took another photo of it. It's really bad. And I saw on one of the progressive news shows, I saw someone who showed us who was it? The Secular Talks guy. And he showed pictures of MS-13 members and their tattoos. Yeah, they're not like that. This thing was on a hand, so it was like this big. yeah, the two examples that he showed were a guy that had MS-13 on his neck, and the letters were 2 inches high, and they were in the same kind of font like you'd get for like the New York Times heading, like that really fancy old English kind of font. And then another guy had it, same font. The letters were like 4 or 5 inches tall because it was going down his back. MS-13 is huge on his back. So yeah, that little like single stroke Sharpie on the hand, that's not an MS-13 tattoo. So Trump got very, very angry with that, and he just looked like a friggin' idiot. And I think that, Trump has come around the corner to where anybody that is not still drinking the Kool-Aid, and like I said, I think we're coming down to like 15 to 17% of the population by now who are still are. But all the rest of us, like 85% of the country, looking at that is just going, oh God, he's an idiot. It's just so clear that he's been lied to, he's been gaslit himself by his own people around him, and that he cannot really handle it when somebody pushes the truth in his face. He tries to handle it by saying, oh, why are you talking like that? Oh, I only picked you because, well, frankly, I didn't know who you were, but and that's a good thing because I didn't know if you were a good or a bad journalist, but you should just agree with me. You should just say, yes, that's the way it is. Why do you have to be so nasty? Why do you have to see? This is why your ratings are low. All he can do is do that kind of bob and weave jabbing at him to try and never answer a question, which is so pathetic. He's the president. He should be able to handle a few tough questions, and he can't. So, oh well, that's what we get. Lie down with dogs, wake up with fleas.
So I was just wondering, Colleen, if you could just go do a brief answer on this because I would love to know myself. I'd love to watch that woman get in big trouble.
She is itching for an orange jumpsuit. She really is. I mean, Pam, talk to me, baby. Are you going to go down for this? Why, yes, I am going to go down for it. Uh, she will be prosecuted for this, and she will try her damnedest to make a deal, and she'll squeal. And then she'll try to run. So when they catch her up on that, they'll just throw everything at her, because she's not only is she a bad lawyer, but she's a liar. So yeah.
Yay.
It may take a while though, because, and I said this before, I'm remembering now when I read on her before, once they finally do have her in captivity, they're going to drag it out. They're going to make her suffer. They're going to make this the longest trial on earth. She's going to be locked up. She's not going to be out on her own recognizance, because she's a threat and a danger to the United States. And they're really going to make her pay in lawyers' fees, pay in time, pay in money, and pay going to jail. They're going to enjoy prosecuting her. Yeah.
Thank you for answering that.
You're welcome.
You said exactly what I wanted to hear.
Well, maybe I was just reading your mind and not really reading the cards. I don't know. All right, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for playing PoliTarology with me. I really enjoyed it. And thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate everybody being here and your questions and all your nice comments, and just great. It's great to see you. And I will be on Friday night with Cleo and Sherry and maybe a special guest. We'll see. And we'll play PoliTarology again. And I promise I'll have even more questions to ask, because there's no gift that keeps on giving like the dumpster. That's what I always say. All right. I'll be seeing you guys later. Bye-bye.